What an effort by Team India's batsmen. Just the other day, 110, bettering it by 100 runs in the same number of overs. Quite a magnificent effort there indeed. Put into bat after losing the toss. This was not their preferred option to set a score, but they have certainly set a score and set Abu Dhabi alight. Let's remind you exactly how many they got. Exactly 100 more than their last effort. 210 for 2 in 20 overs. Virat Kohli did not even come out to bat. He was a spectator in the dugout, marshalling his resources, sending in punts before him, sending in Hardik Pandya to do what Hardik Pandya can do. And he finished with 35 of 13 after that platform set by Rohit Sharma and Lokesh Rahul. Here on Cricbuzz Live, we can look back, we can celebrate, we can laud that effort. It's only half done, but certainly the batting effort is worth talking about right here on Cricbuzz Live in the company of Dinesh Karthik and Joy Bhattacharjya. DK, what a pleasure that was. Michael Vaughan tweeted a while ago, India are back. I think that just sums it up.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's minds one question: why can't they play like this every time they come out? It's not that easy. Obviously, when you play against different attacks, different wickets, today we need to understand the importance of a good pitch. I think they played on a slightly better watered surface. The ball was coming on nicely. Obviously, the quality of fast bowling went as good as the other teams that we've played. All things put together, we had a bit of luck to start with, but then we just got going. You could just see what the difference in an associate nation who just started playing Test cricket, whereas other teams have been, who have been consistent over a period of time in terms of T20, have been so good. KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma again showing the world why they are world class batters. Rishabh Pant, with his one-handed sixes becoming, dime a dozen these days. And then you put in a Hardik Pandya who's in good flow. Indian team. And this is one of the reasons why each one of us sitting here believe that India is the team that would go on to, bare minimum semi-finals and then qualify on to better things. But that's the beauty of the sport. On different days, teams react differently. And today was a great day for India.
Certainly was a great day. TK mentioned one-handed sixes. A strange thing happened. His last six, he actually held on to the bat for dear life. It was a two-handed six. That's something we haven't seen for a while, Joe.
Just amazing hitting and textbook hitting. I mean, your top two guys have got your great foundation. They started about 120, they've gone up to 135, 140, 145 each of them. The next two guys come in, they start batting, they score at above 200 to give you the final kick at the end. This textbook, I mean, you can't have it better than that. Just look at that. 8.83, 9.88, 13.6, 125 runs in the last 10 overs. It's a massacre, absolute massacre. And this is what Karthik, Pant and this thing are capable of doing at the end. Pandya are capable of doing at the end. And therefore, I think what they did, which was very smart, was they didn't play batting position according to the, who's getting out, but according to number of overs. I think the moment they crossed 13, 14 overs, they turned around and said that, okay, Pant is the next guy going, make it a right and left. If the next batsman gets out, Hardik Pandya is going to go in. And I think that's what they did very, very well. They did it beautifully. And both sides, the foundation layers and the finishers executed beautifully.
Yeah, DK, I know you mentioned the surface being good, but I think the first thing that stood out, apart from the surface and taking advantage of it, was the sheer intent. Whether it was the ability to hit the ball with the bat or even to be able to rotate and change the batting order. How many teams would be brave enough not to send out the world's best batsman, arguably, and him as captain say, listen, I think you're most suited for the situation. Rishabh, Hardik, go out there and do it.
Yes, definitely. I think these days we speak a lot about very interesting word matchups, and I think it's been used a lot in this format. And the matchup for Rishabh Pant was perfect. Fast bowlers, an over of Rashid Khan left at that stage. Send a left-hander in and let him try and go all guns blazing, and that's exactly what Rishabh Pant did. He's been doing this for some time now, where at the back end of the innings he's able to make best use of it, clear the boundaries with ease, and he's got nice bat swing. So more often than not, when he connects the ball, it goes a fair distance.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those roles that we would like to see him more of. Joy, perhaps as captain of a franchise, maybe he tends to hold back a little bit. Somebody needs to tell him, even if you're captain, you can still be the Rishabh Pant you always are.
Yeah, look, that's the point. His role really, essentially, he's best as a finisher. That doesn't mean that he can't bat at three or four on this thing. But if you really want to use him as his best, he's that destructive guy who comes in after the 13th, 14th over and kicks it off for you. That's where he's at his best. And I think that's the problem. With his franchise, he felt that, when Shreyas was not there, he needed to bat in slightly early and take the role of settling in. And I don't think that's what he's totally suited to. He's done a good job of it. But for India, where there is enough resources and enough batsmen that like to play, it's important that we play him at his right position. He's a finisher, and Karthik will tell you that's one of the most difficult things in international cricket. I mean, that's why even Hardik Pandya is worth his weight as gold. People are looking at him and saying he's injured, he can't bowl. How is it? It's still very difficult to get a batsman who can play like that at number 6, or what Rishabh does at number 5.
It certainly does. We've obviously mentioned the final kick, DK, but what about that start? You wouldn't have got a final kick like that had you not had the highest partnership that we're talking about, and 140 runs of 89 balls, Rahul and Rohit, showing intent from pretty much ball one. At one, there were phases of 2 or 3 balls when one was going well, the other was happy to sit back and watch, and then they just played a relay race there.
Yeah, I think today Rohit Sharma started much better. I think Nabi, he hit him for a great 6. I mean, great boundary over covers, and that set the tone because he trusted the wicket after that because he knew it didn't turn much. He went against the spin, but still connected. That told him that the wicket is in a good place. So after that, you could see he didn't move his feet too much. He set himself up before the ball and just swung his bat in the direction of where he wanted the ball to go. And when you do that, that means there is not much help from the wicket. And since he was getting into those positions where he was kind of doing power hitting at that stage with the new ball, tells me that he was very sure that the fact that the ball wasn't moving much, neither what the wicket was helping the bowler, so he could trust himself and keep hitting through the line or in many other ways which would trouble the bowler. And that is one of Rohit Sharma's strength. When you speak to bowlers, they say, "Arey, usko nahi dal pata hai, wo kidhar bhi marta hai." That's exactly what they mean. Literally, he hits you to places which normal opening batsmen cannot hit, because he's got such great hands, he's got great wrist, and most importantly, he's got a very beautiful downswing on the ball. And his timing is second to none. So that's one of Rohit Sharma's biggest strengths.
Yeah, and at the other end, Joy, obviously the flavor of the hour has been Rahul, as pretty much as KL-Rahul got out, everyone was reading about the official final announcement of the appointment of Rahul Dravid as Team India coach. But we'll talk about Dravid in a moment. KL-Rahul again played second fiddle for maybe an over or two, and then realized that they needed to contribute from both ends.
Yeah, and I know the way he swivels when Rahul's in form. You'll see those pickup shots that he hits for 6 on the leg side, and both he and Rohit have it. But he connects a couple, and he's also set. He's seeing the ball, and exactly when Rohit. You remember that over when Rashid Khan was bowling to him, and Rohit, is beaten on the flight. He's come too early. He's not reached the ball. He still goes through and he goes for a 6. He's not reached the ball. He still goes through and he goes for a 6. I mean, that is, it shows you, the pitch is not doing much. But again, the ability to be able to adjust when you know that you've actually been beaten in the flight is just it shows you what a class batsman he is. And that's why Rashid was not a factor at all. I mean, he came back and he bowled an economical final over, but he didn't bother the Indian batsman the way he normally does. And he was their one proven match winner.
Very quickly, to finish with, yes, we've got extra runs on the board, 210 on the board, but the fact that it's a good surface means it'll also be a good surface for the opposition batsman. What should India's bowling tactics be, and who do you see as the key threat for India in the bowling department?
I think definitely a Bumrah, because this wicket is not bouncing much, so it's skidding through. So Bumrah is very, very good bowler in these kind of wickets. I have a feeling we'll see Shardul Thakur picking up a few wickets as well because of the kind of bounce this wicket seems to have. The one bowler who bowled brilliantly was Hamid Hassan for them. I thought he used the skid of the wicket very well. So anybody who's able to use the skid in the wicket will be able to definitely create trouble for the batsman, because you saw a lot of guys getting hit on the hips and elbows. Tells me that the ball is reaching them faster than they're expecting. And that happens when the ball skids off the wicket. So India will be able to use that skid of the wicket, especially Shardul and Bumrah. So these two bowlers will be very, very effective, in my opinion.
Yeah, certainly they will be looking to that. And of course, in the spin department, reunited again will be Ashwin and Jadeja, Joy. And without any necessarily mystery, they will just need to have that discipline to make sure Afghanistan don't get away.
Yeah, look, also when you're chasing 210, the pressure on the batsmen to keep going after the bowling will also give you results. They have to take more risks if they're going to take this target seriously. And if they're going to take risks, somebody as clever as Ashwin or somebody like Jadeja, who's like a you hit, you miss, I hit, are very useful bowlers. So expect them to, moment there's certain amount of run rate pressure. I mean, you're scoring 210, there's run rate pressure from ball one. You expect them to really, really reap the rewards of that.
Well, one thing's for sure, the opposition batsmen are going to go hard. That's the nature of the game. That's the way they play. So it'll be a bit of a challenge for Team India's bowlers, but I think a challenge that they will relish, knowing that they have just a bit of insurance of that 210 on the board. How far they get, maybe we should just do a quick prediction since we were miles away. 173 was the highest we got. Since we were so far away, maybe we can try and rectify that with a 6-over prediction for Afghanistan in this run chase.
Me, I think I'll go for 6 overs, 45 for 3.
6 overs, 45 for 3. Given us
I like
wickets
the way
as well.
he's put it out there because of wickets. They're going to go for it and they're going to get out as well. I'm not going to take the risk of saying wickets, but I'm going to say 41 because I think they're going to struggle to hit Bumrah.
Yep. And, I'm going to just stick to even less than that. 38. 38. That's far too little, but I know if wickets fall, maybe just a bit circumspect before they can launch again. So we've got different totals to think of, but again, it's time to celebrate a sterling Indian batting effort. Now it's just about finishing things off with the ball, one match at a time, then looking ahead at Scotland and Namibia to follow. For now, that's all we have on the show. We'll see you on Cricbuzz Combox. This is Cricbuzz Live.